Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is another book versus movie, and today I'm going to be talking about the Mortal Instruments, City of Bones movie versus the first book in the series of the Mortal Instruments. I have done a video for the TV show if you would like to watch, but today I'm focusing on the movie. So let's get into it. So obviously we're going to start with Clary. Now one of the main issues with most of the cast of this movie is that Clary is supposed to be 15 turning 16, and I believe Jace, Izzy, and Alec, they might be a little older, but I think they're supposed to be around the same. I'm not actually sure, but she is supposed to be 15 years old, and obviously she's not 15 years old in this movie. I believe she's 17, about to turn 18. She's much, well, not much older, but older. The description of Clary in the book is that she's, almost 16 years old. She has freckles across her face. She has curly orange hair, kind of like Merida from Brave. She's an artist, she's stubborn, sarcastic, but will fight for her friends if, she'll throw herself in the line of fire if it means protecting those she loves. She also has an issue with self-esteem. She doesn't believe she is pretty. Guys tell her she's pretty, but she's like, nah. Even though others see it and she can't. She is a little over 5 feet tall and wears boyish clothing, which annoys Izzy to no end, and there are a few scenes in the book where she dresses her up and be like, well, look how pretty you could be. And I believe in later books she does get more into her style, but at the start she wears dude clothes, which, why not? In the movie, however, she is still an artist, but she's older. She's 17 instead of 15. Her hair is like reddish brown. I think it's supposed to be like a dark red, but to me it looks more brown, which is nowhere near the hair color that Clary's supposed to have. I forgot to mention that in the book she has green eyes, while in the movie she has hazel eyes. Close, but not close enough. And the actress who plays Clary is about 5'5". Obviously, height, it's not that big a deal, but she doesn't really look like Clary at all. The show did a little better, but it wasn't as curly as it should be, but they at least got the hair color right. The next character is Simon. In the book, he's described as having brown hair and brown eyes. He wears glasses. He wears, sarcastic word shirts. He's very witty, sarcastic in general, and a big nerd. He plays in a band. Once he becomes a vampire, obviously he doesn't wear glasses anymore. It really shows off, enhances his beauty. Because, that's how vampires work. They just get hot. But he was a vegetarian since he was 10. So becoming a vampire was quite hard for him because, that's not his thing. In the movie, I think they did a pretty good job. And I'm a little biased because I like that actor. He has curly brown hair, but it is brown. His eyes aren't the right color. They are green instead of brown. He does wear glasses. He is sarcastic. I don't remember if he wore, word shirts, sarcastically worded shirts, but I think that the actor did a very good job. Obviously, it's not a perfect Simon, but it's pretty damn close. Then there's Jace. In the book, he's described as having curly blonde hair, long eyelashes, and amber eyes that look gold in the light. He stands around 5'11" and has a chip in one of his teeth. He is covered in runes, as many Shadowhunters are, and has a star birthmark, which is actually a thing that goes through the Herondale family, on his left shoulder. He has a sharp wit and is very sarcastic, which he uses to hide his insecurities, which a lot of sarcastic people do. He's arrogant, self-centered, confident, show off. But he does have a moral compass. He does do the right thing, he just sometimes is a dick about it. Now, in the movie, they got pretty close with what Jace was supposed to look like. He's played by the actor who plays Vecna in Stranger Things, so that's pretty cool. He has blonde, curly-ish hair. I don't know how curly his hair is supposed to be, but they did have some wave to it. However, his eyes are blue, and they do flash gold, I believe, once, but I think they were just too lazy to put contacts on him, so they just left his blue eyes alone. They don't mention his birthmark throughout the movie, so I don't know if it's there or not. My main issue is that Jace is British. The actor who plays him is from England, which I don't believe Jace is supposed to be British. I mean, it really is not that big a deal. I mean, he played that character very well. And honestly, I would have loved him in the TV show if they just, moved him over there. But that would probably be the biggest thing, is the eyes and his British accent. Now with Izzy, in the book she's described as having ink black hair that goes down to her waist. She has dark eyes, but they have gold flecks in them. She is very into fashion, wearing dresses and high heels. She stands around 5'9" and is very slim. She is a little bit narcissistic and does have the tendency to go and have a temper tantrum if things don't go her way, slamming her bedroom door, throwing things, that type of thing. But she does care for her family. She is very loyal, and she's there for the people who need her. In the movie, however, she has brown hair that is long, but it doesn't go to her waist. I'm pretty sure it goes down to, like, here. And she has blue eyes, which are very different. She's shorter than the described height that Izzy is supposed to be. She does dress fashionably, she does care. We didn't get to see enough of her to really see if she was Izzy. I do believe Emerald from the TV show did a better job. I might be bringing up the TV show a lot. A lot of people judged the TV show, but I liked it. So I might be bringing it up a few times. Alec is tall and wiry. He's about 6 feet tall. He has dark black hair. He has blue eyes. He's very blunt, straightforward, a little bit of an arrogant, he likes to push people away. I think a lot of it is because he doesn't want to admit to himself and others of what he likes, so he pushes it down, pretends he's something he's not, and then puts that anger out on other people. Eventually he does get better once, he realizes he loves Magnus, which is the cutest ship I've ever seen in my life. In the movie, he's a little shorter. He's about 5'9". He has brown hair and blue eyes. I think, he did a pretty good job. However, the actor who plays Alec in the TV show is like my perfect rendition of Alec. I've read all the books, and when I imagine Alec, I imagine him. He actually auditioned for the movie, so that would have been cool. In the books, Magnus stopped aging around 19 years old, and he's 400 years old. 400-year-old, 19-year-old, that's fun. He has brown skin, high cheekbones, cat eyes. Who doesn't love cat eyes? Wears a lot of makeup, glitzy fashion, being like, here I am, how's it going? In the movie, Magnus is much older. The actor who played Magnus for the movie was 28 at the time, so obviously he didn't stop at 19. You can clearly tell he's not 19 years old. He has dark hair and dark eyes. They do flash his cat eyes, I believe, once or twice throughout the movie, but Magnus is supposed to, I believe, have cat eyes 24/7. Those are just his eyes. The show also does this, where they just flash his cat eyes instead of having him have cat eyes all the time, which I think would have been cool if he just had cat eyes all the time. Just saying. He is wearing makeup. He's not really wearing flashy outfits, but of course it was a movie. We didn't get a lot of Magnus in this movie. It was just like snippets. So we didn't really get to know him. Luke is a ragged-looking bookkeeper. He has, uneven, curly hair, blue eyes, wears glasses, is a werewolf. He's kind, gentle, level-headed, a father figure to Clary, to Simon, to basically everyone. He gives them, advice and is just there for them. He's werewolf dad. I do believe the movie did a pretty good job with the casting for Luke for it. Aidan Turner. I'm also biased. I like Aidan Turner too. But he has curly hair, he wears glasses, plaid shirts, works in a bookshop. He's a little more, I think, aggressive and confident than the description of Luke in the books. They also gave him like a gray strip of hair, which I don't believe he has in the books. It did make him look cool though. However, I believe Aiden's a little more muscular than Luke is supposed to be. But it was pretty good. Now to Hodge. Hodge has a thick scar on his face, which I believe they just cut out entirely from the movie. To Clary, he seemed ageless, despite his graying hair, which he actually started graying early on. It's not because he's old, it's just because from the stress of being cursed and all that jazz, his hair started to turn gray. He often wore suits of tweed, fancy. He was stuck in the institute and tried to escape, find a way out for 16 years, not caring about the consequences, trying to escape. That was his main goal. Eventually, he got to a point where he was desperate and trusted Valentine, which you never should do. But he became like a father figure to Jace, Alec, and Izzy, as they were the only ones in the Institute. You know, he was a scholar, he was very smart, he was a teacher, but he was also like their father figure. In the movie, he's an actual old man with graying hair, instead of a younger man whose hair has turned gray. He is cursed to stay at the Institute because of his actions with the Circle, which happened in both, but in this he's more of like a teacher rather than a father figure. I don't feel like they have as much of a connection. I don't sense the fatherly love. Now Valentine. Valentine is one of the most different changes. Some of them, it's like little things here and there. Valentine looks completely different between the book and the movie. In the book, he is a formidable 6-foot-tall man. He's very muscular. He's very He has sharp features and almost triangular face. He has white, like, blonde hair that's so blonde it's almost white. He's charismatic. He has a genius-level intellect. He's a narcissist. He's one of those bad guys that's very convincing, manipulating. He gets under your skin, and he's very good at it. He believes what he is doing is right. He doesn't believe he's the bad guy. He thinks he's a hero, and he's doing all these things for the betterment of the Shadowhunter community, when in reality he's just a dick. However, in the movie, he's 5'10", so a little shorter than he's supposed to be. He has blue eyes and dark hair with a rat tail for some reason. I don't know why the rat tail was needed, but hair colors very different. He does have a similar personality to the Valentine in the book. However, we didn't get to see enough of him to really know how much of Valentine he is, at least description-wise. Ain't cutting it. When it comes to casting, I believe they did really well with Luke and Simon. The rest, it was kind of like, eh. Jamie did a pretty good job as Jace, though, so I would say that one's probably third. Is Simon, then Luke, then Jace, and then the rest, it's kind of like a meh. When they're in the pandemonium, you know, the club, Izzy leads the demon into a storage room, and then they off it. You know, there's a fight that involves, but they kill the demon, and Clary's like, holy shit. In the movie, however, they did it just in the middle of the club. They didn't hide it. I mean, obviously they're invisible to everyone but Clary. So Clary just screams out loud, and everyone thinks she's nuts, because obviously they can't see what she's seeing. I don't know why they had to do it in the middle of the dance floor, but hey, why not, I guess. The Ravener demon that waited for Clary after she got back from the club was a mix between an alligator and a centipede, which sounds disgusting. In the movie, however, it looks to be more like a dog/octopus creature. Its long body kind of resembles what it was described as in the book, but they are completely different looking creatures. Also, in the book, Clary kills the demon by shoving a censer down its throat. However, in the movie, Jace kills the demon. She does help by blowing up her kitchen, but Jace does the final blow. Simon was turned into a rat after suddenly drinking a blue drink at the bar, and was accidentally kidnapped by vampires. In the movie, they didn't turn him into a rat. He did drink something he wasn't supposed to, and was kidnapped by vampires. Not accidentally, on purpose. He wasn't turned into a rat, but in a deleted scene from the movie, he said he felt like a rat when he was being held hostage, which I guess is close enough. In the book, Clary and Jace are the ones to save, or go to save, Simon. In the movie, Alec and Izzy show up, and I believe the werewolf pack hangs out as well, so they're all just fighting together. Simon doesn't become a vampire until the City of Ashes. However, in the movie, they already started showing signs that he was becoming a vampire. He had a bite mark on his neck, he could see clearly without his glasses, and they were just hinting at the fact he was becoming a vampire. I mean, that's fine, I guess. We never got a second movie, so we never got to know how that went, but that would have been, yeah, it's not terrible. Luke sent members of his werewolf pack to watch over Clary. Clary finds this out, throws a knife at one of them, turning out to be Alaric. He later returned the knife to Clary and complimented her for her aim. However, in the movie, Luke had been following Clary and was part of the raiding party at the hotel. She threw a knife at him instead of Alaric, and he did return the knife and compliment her aim. They just changed who got the knife thrown at them. Jace, Izzy, and Alec discover that Madame Dorothea is possessed by a demon after she opens a portal in her apartment. However, in the movie, he's suspicious of her immediately and starts playing Bach, which supposedly, because of the notes, is painful to demons. They don't like it, which, you know, why not? Play some piano and get that demon to, I don't know. So he starts playing the piano, she freaks out, and then once Alec and Izzy's particles that react to demons start freaking out, they realize she is possessed by a demon. In this movie, they have like this material that reacts to demons, which I believe is not even, it's not in the books at all. I think that was just for the movie. It's like a rock or something. In both the movie and the book, Simon helps defeat this demon. In the book, Simon shoots out a skylight on the demon. You know. In the movie, however, he tackles the demon out the front door, which honestly is more savage, in my opinion. You know. Just saying. You know, Simon is the nerdy best friend. Even when he becomes a vampire, he's not like this badass macho man. He's still Simon. So just the idea of him pushing a demon out a door that's awesome. Another thing they decided to put in this movie that doesn't happen into a later book is that Clary can create runes. She does not figure this out until later on. However, in the movie, she figures this out quite quickly. Fearless rune, which is shown in the movie, does not show up until a later book. There are also some discrepancies on how the runes are used in the movie. You can see the Fearless rune on some of the Shadowhunters' gear. Some of the runes on their body don't match up to descriptions. I think they just put runes willy-nilly. They didn't really pay attention to what they mean half the time. I just think they're like, ooh, runes are cool, and then that's where they went. The fight at the end of the book happens at Renwick's, while in the movie it happens in the Institute. Just summoning demons in there, because that's cool. It's a lot more of a together effort in the book. They're all, you know, fighting in a big group, while in the movie they're split up into smaller groups. Readers were led to believe that Jace and Clary were related throughout a few of the books. Eventually they realize, oh shit, they're not related. That's awkward. That whole storyline is discussed because, you know, it is an interesting thing. They're not related, but then they thought they were related, but they still liked each other. So that's a whole thing. But in the movie, they kind of reveal that they aren't siblings like very early on. Hodge makes a comment to Valentine talking about how he's going to lie to Jace and Clary to say they are related. Jace doesn't really believe it when Valentine says this. They kind of just, alright, keep going. In the show, they do talk about it, and it is an issue for, I believe, a season or two, but it also is resolved in the end. I don't remember how many books they think they're siblings. In the movie, they kind of just squash that idea very quickly. In the book, Clary follows Hodge Starkweather, being like, hey dude, what the hell are you doing? Because, you know, he teamed up with Valentine because he's like, I want to escape this hellhole. He tries to kill Clary. Luke steps in and is like, no bitch, saves her, and Hodge vanishes. In the movie, however, he does side with Valentine, but he sticks around to help them defeat Valentine. Obviously, he helps allow the demons into the Institute, and then he is there to help stop the demons. So he realizes, oh shit, probably shouldn't have done that, and helps them, which in the book does not happen. In the book, Valentine successfully steals the Mortal Cup, and that causes all the trauma of the rest of the books. In the movie, however, Clary gives him a fake one while she has the real one. So at the end of the movie, she still has the cup. So that kind of destroys the entire storyline of the books. So if they plan to have a second one, I don't know how they were going to do it. Were they just going to have it start with him stealing the cup? Were they going to have to... Because he uses that to control demons and make his own army. So if he doesn't have that, how the hell are the other events going to happen? So I don't know what they were thinking with that one. After that, Valentine goes through the portal willingly, while in the movie, Clary pushes him into the portal, and there's this thing that if you go into a portal and don't know where you're going, like you don't have a mission of, I'm going here, you can get trapped in limbo, which in the books, that doesn't happen. There's no training involved with having to use a portal. There's no chance of getting stuck in limbo. You know, you just go. You go somewhere. You don't need to train to use it. But in the movie, they're like, if you don't know where you're going, you're trapped there forever. Kick. Alright, cool, thanks. A plot point in the books is that Luke is Valentine's parabatai. They were very close. Parabatai bonds are, like, closer than brothers. Like, they are one. In the movie, in a deleted scene, they kind of show that. Like, they went to a battle and something happened where Luke was turned into a werewolf. Alec and Jace also have a parabatai bond, and they don't really bring it up at all during the movie. I don't think it's mentioned once that either pair are parabatai. Like, they don't even talk about it. In the show, however, they do make it a plot point, and it is involved in it. It's a big thing between Jace and Alec. I don't remember how big of it is between Valentine and Luke, but they do mention it. In the movie, they kind of just glossed over it. Obviously, this is a movie. It's like an hour and a half. You know, they're trying to fit in as much as they can. They did fit in some things that I don't think they should have put in there, but, you know, when you have a limited time, you can't put everything you want, unless you make a 3-hour movie, which sometimes works, but I think for a movie like this, that would be too long. There are other differences between the book and movie that I did not mention. If you can think of any, comment down below. Honestly, I didn't hate this movie. I saw this movie before I read the books, and I saw, I think, 2 seasons of the show before I read the books. Then I read the books, and then I came back and rewatched them. I do believe the show did better with casting and storylines in general. I know a lot of people judge that show. They hate it. It has its problems. It's not perfect. This movie has its problems. It's not perfect. But I didn't hate either of them. Now, obviously, I'm not a person who's a giant book fan who judges the content, like, harshly, where I'm like, that's terrible. It's not the same. Yeah. Sometimes, but rarely do I do that. I usually see, like, the good bits within the movie or the show based on a book I've read. I go, okay, well, that's the same. That's different, but I like it. Or that's different, I don't like it. But I try and find good bits within the media. I do believe the movie was, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I liked it. I do believe they should have changed some things because they put those things in there. That's most likely why there wasn't a second movie. They put in some plot points that are not talked about until later books, which I really think killed off the idea of more movies because they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Specifically with Clary keeping the cup, that was not what they should have done, because that makes it difficult to do the rest of the books, because Valentine is supposed to have that. And throwing him into limbo, that also makes things complicated. Obviously, they could have started the next movie with him escaping and finding the cup and blah, 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 but I just think they probably should have cut that out. The rest of it, however, you know, it had its little things. Characters didn't look the same. The story was a little different. I can understand why it would be difficult to turn Simon into a rat. Though I do believe that would be cool. In both the book and the movie, they do not turn him into a rat. Someone should turn him into a rat. Obviously, I don't want Simon to be a rat, but I'm just saying that I think someone, if they do another iteration of Shadowhunters, which I don't know if they will, it would be cool. We'll see. But if they do, Simon should become a rat, in my personal opinion. I loved both the show and the movie. It had moments where I was like, ugh. I prefer the show more than the movie, but I do like both of them. Obviously, neither are perfect renditions of the books. I do believe the books are obviously top-notch, and then the other two are kind of like down here. But, you know, it wasn't bad. Comment down below what you guys thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was there any differences that I didn't bring up that you think should be brought up? I really enjoy doing the book versus movie or book versus TV show because it shows the differences. Because a lot of people will just read the books, or a lot of people will just read the, you know, watch the movie or the show, and then they don't know, you know, how different each media is. So it's kind of cool to be like, all right, this is what the book happened, and this is what happened in the movie. Whoa, you know? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back again next week with another video. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Whoosh.